All right. Well, welcome here, everyone. Truly, thank you for all of your time and dedication to the future of Vermont through Vermont's Child Care Campaign. We are recording this call. I just want folks to know, so no need to take any notes. We'll be sure to distribute this to you all. And again, please do add your name and what brought you here and your location. And I have two star champion volunteers who offered to actually share what brings you here today with all of us. So actually, could I start with you all? Get us, off on the right foot here. Lisa LaBelle, are you out there? I saw your face a moment ago. Could you come off mute and tell us what brings you here today, Lisa?
Yes, I'm here, and I am Lisa. I'm the owner of ABC Academy in Milton and St. Albans. I am a parent of 3 boys, and I'm excited to be on this call with everyone today because although we've made humongous progress, there's so much more work that needs to be done. I'm excited and feel lucky to live in a state that values childcare and understands that childcare is the foundation to a resilient economy. I'm interested in taking action and being a part of this because I want to see change. And one of the biggest challenges we face in the field is lack of childcare workers. 86% of Vermont childcare centers are experiencing staffing shortages, and we need to be able to pay our educators a wage commensurate with their value. If we can't do this, we won't be able to retain these educators. And as a result, childcare slots will remain open and unable to be filled. Just last week, I had a parent reach out to me inquiring about securing a spot for childcare for this upcoming spring. They were told that there's a 9-month waiting list everywhere they look. They're trying to move from Florida to Vermont. She has a fantastic job offer in Vermont, but she also got one in New Hampshire. And in New Hampshire, they're not having this childcare shortage. And so unfortunately, she's going to have to take the job offer in New Hampshire. And I just feel that we can't live in a community that doesn't support their workforce, and childcare workers are the workforce behind the workforce. So I'm excited to be here with you guys today. I'm excited to talk about change and excited to be here with everybody. So that's why I'm here.
Great, Lisa. You're really firing me up. I'm so invigorated to do this work with you all, and just hearing from you like that brings it to life that much more. Thank you so much for being with us today and sharing that. And also Christine Mitchell-Adams. Hi, it's so good to see you. Thank you for being here. Why don't you tell us why you're here today?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name's Christine. I'm a solopreneur and a working mom. I have a toddler. I live in Shelburne with my family. The Child Care Campaign resonates with me, not only because I'm a parent, but also, a parent juggling, finding childcare. That was in 2019 and we were still on a wait list for 9 months. Didn't know we had childcare until I was on the bed after cesarean, reading emails, super stressful. You get childcare and then you have the debate of like, how can I afford this? It's so challenging. But if this campaign is resonating with me, not just because of that, but also as a citizen and understanding the need of it in our society, in our communities. Our working families need access to quality, accessible, and affordable childcare. They need that to be able to go to their jobs, to live a life that's fulfilling. Our early childhood educators are so important and so valued in our community, but they need wages that are commensurate with that. They need to be able to have a quality of life as well. Caregivers across the board are grossly undervalued, and especially our early childhood educators are. So this, I'm jumping on this call because this season with the elections, I've been taking action by learning more and more about the candidates who are voting, and the ones specifically who are prioritizing childcare and voting for those candidates. And I will continue to do so into the general election. And the most important thing for me about being on this call is to make sure that as an active community member, I'm helping other members of my community also get educated about our candidates and how they're prioritizing childcare, if they are, and to vote accordingly and to be a childcare voter and see how I can do that more and more on a daily basis and on a regular basis and get more people out there voting, because we know voting matters. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Christine. You and Lisa sort of teed up the why and the how perfectly. I just so appreciate you both and all of you here today. You're representing what drives us, what moves us, why we're part of this together. And we are on the cusp of transformational change. So let's dive into the agenda. If you want to just do the next slide. You all might recognize these two little munchkins. They're a lot older now, but I was committed personally to the idea of high quality, affordable childcare as the singular lever that we have the chance to make Vermont a sustainable, thriving, joyful place for our kids, our families, our economy, our businesses, and beyond. And then I had twins, and it made it deeply personal for me, in addition to the intellectual commitment I had about this being our moment, our time, our rare opportunity to, pull this lever and see the amazing things it does for our state and our people. And I've been in this, adjacent into early childhood, mostly through policy, for over 10 years now. So I knew to put my kids on the wait list before I told anyone in my family I was pregnant. And it still took me 11 months to find 2 spaces for my kids. And even then they were part-time. And then I lost them during COVID. And I literally packed up my van on Monday mornings and drove an hour to my parents' house, where my 2 aging parents went from being retired to being full-time caretakers of twin toddlers for a year and a half. So I just think often, I have all the supports in the world. I have my parents an hour nearby. I have financial, stability. I have, a partner that pitches in, equally. I have all these amazing things, and I'm barely able to make it work. What are we doing here? What are other Vermonters doing who don't have all of those incredible supports that I'm so lucky and privileged to have? So we're all in this together. We all come at it from a different lens. And it is equally important and transformational, and we are on the cusp of success. And as you've heard already, though, the hardest work is still ahead. So if you move to the next slide, that's what we're here to talk about today. I'm really just doing a quick intro, remind us of where we've come. Last legislative session, the last 2 years, which is called the legislative biennium, we accomplished historic work for childcare in Vermont together. Really, truly historic work that would not have happened without the advocacy of all of you. Our childcare champions fuel this movement. We are merely a facilitator here at Let's Grow Kids. It is the power of the people that moves something like this forward. And we saw that happening in the last 2 years. As you can see up on the screen, this is what we did. We actually laid the foundation together through the law, through passing the legislation the last 2 years, that made strategic investments that laid the foundation for a high quality, affordable childcare system that meets the needs of all Vermonters, that we can now build upon. So it literally put into law the goals, the timeline, the investments to move us forward to the next big step. And that's where we stand today. That was the beginning. That was the setting of the timer. That was laying the foundation. And now we have to bring it home. So next slide. What is next? What is next? Oh, I just love this picture so much. Childcare is everyone's business. Look at those faces. We obviously have set our sights to pass transformational legislation this coming legislative session, this coming biennium, as quickly as possible in this biennium. That's what we're here to do. We stand on the cusp to pass this bill, which is currently being written and informed by a wide array of stakeholders. It will also take into consideration the recently released systems analysis on the systems and governance recommendations, as well as the yet to be released financing study, which is commissioned by the legislature and the law that we helped pass together. That bill, it is, the bones are there from all the work we've done together over the decades. We know where we're going. It is literally being written and formed now to be ready for this coming session. But that's not, I want to be clear, that's not what we're here to talk about today. That is in process. We're all working on that together. It is, those are the policy details. We cannot possibly pass such a sweeping transformation of policy if we do not elect champions to this legislature who understand the need for childcare, who understand the value proposition, and who are ready to get elected, get in that seat, and take the boldest vote of their lives to transform childcare for us all. And that's what we're here to do today. We have a golden opportunity with unbelievable turnover, unprecedented turnover in both the House and the Senate, with new folks coming in who are hardwired to be childcare champs and understand this issue and really elevate it and move it forward. But they will not do it. They can't do it without you, without hearing from you, without understanding what it means for you to get this done, understand what it means for our economy, for Vermont's families. You know, when we invest in a childcare system that works for all of us, they need those dots connected. Why is this the most crucial thing we're all focused on? What does it mean for you personally? Get them laser focused while they're candidates, while they're paying attention, to elect them on November 8th and have them ready to step into that role. It really is a unique opportunity now, especially with the turnover, especially with a captive audience of candidates, to get this done and to elect childcare champions. So that's what we're here to talk about today. The next few months, 2.5 months actually, until November 8th. You know, it's coming right up, and I'm going to hand this over to Emily Tenenbaum, our Chief of External Affairs and Strategy at Let's Grow Kids, to take it away and describe in more detail our election strategy.
Thank you, Allie, and thanks everybody for being here and taking time out of what I know is busy schedules for everybody. For those of you who I haven't gotten a chance to meet, I am a senior leader here at LGK, but I'm also a parent advocate. I have 3 small children, young children, 9 months, 4.5 and 6. And I recently moved back to Vermont and was able to find childcare, but I definitely had to navigate that process. And as so many of you know, it is much harder than it should be. And there are many challenging and staffing issues that come up on a daily basis as we all navigate childcare. But childcare is what allows me to show up today for this job. And I am so grateful for the early educators that are with my children and educating them and providing incredible quality care. And it is what I hope for all Vermont families and children, that when we are done with this campaign, that is the reality for all of our families, and not just for the families and kids who are able to access that kind of care, but for the future of Vermont and the future of our economy. And I really believe that this is an issue that spans so many different points for so many people, and it's why candidates and elected officials are getting behind childcare. And we're seeing childcare champions all day, every day show up on the campaign trail talking about this. So yes, we are here and excited to talk to you about the election season and how it looks a little different for us this year in exciting ways. So Allie just mentioned there is an unprecedented opportunity. So we have almost a third of the House turning over, and a huge amount of our senators are retiring. So we have not only incredible incumbents that have been cultivated by you, that have been engaged along this journey, who are poised to take action on childcare, but then we have these incredible new candidates that are coming to out there in communities running for office, and we need to get out there and talk to these incumbents. We need to talk to the new candidates on the campaign trail. It is not the end of our journey in terms of what we are trying to do to accomplish and pass our big childcare bill, but it is a big moment that we need to seize, and we cannot do it without all of you. So today I'm so excited to see all of you, and it fills me with hope that you guys are putting whatever else on hold today to show up and hear from us. And so I just want to talk about a couple of the kind of what we think in terms of our election season goals. So obviously we need to elect childcare champions. And I'll talk a little bit about this in the next slide, kind of our endorsement process and a few other things. And not only do we need to elect childcare champions, we need to elevate and build momentum for childcare in every corner, in every district of Vermont. And it's really, really critical that we're not only talking to our endorsed candidates, but we're talking to all candidates, and we're finding creative, strategic ways to organize our communities and get out there and do really critical work with candidates to let them know, as Allie said, that this is an issue that is a priority, and it is time. It is a moment that we cannot miss. And so those are the two election goals: that we need to elect the childcare champions, and we need to elevate and build momentum for childcare all along the campaign trail as these candidates are out there. It's just an opportunity because, you know, a lot of times Vermont is small. There's a lot of opportunities. Candidates will be ready to talk to constituents and voters, and they're just a lot more accessible in the next 2.5 months and kind of ready to hear from their future constituents about what matters to them. So it's a critical moment, not only in our campaign, but for the general election season. So I'm gonna go over to the next slide. And so today, this is the exciting kind of kickoff and launch as we build into this election season activity. And the first moment that's really exciting, and is a first for this organization and our Vermont Child Care campaign, will be rolling out candidate endorsements. Really, really critical and important. And these are going to be the candidates that have signaled and shown and have a record of supporting childcare. Not only supporting it, but really willing and ready to put this as their top priority, their top issue, single most important thing when they show up in Montpelier, and they are ready to take the hard vote for public investment. And I think you'll see in our endorsements, not everyone that will endorse is going to be 100% ready to go, but they are signaling to us, and we're having communication with them, that they are ready to prioritize this issue in a way that we need them to be in terms of the session next year. So that is the first exciting rollout. You can look for that in early September. We'll be rolling those out, and you'll get lots of communications from our team about those endorsements and the announcement on that front. So also in the next coming days, we're about to close out that process. So if you do come in contact with candidates in the next couple of days, encourage them to fill out our questionnaire if they haven't already. They just have a couple days to do that. So that's one quick immediate ask as you're out there, and if you happen to interact with any candidates in the next couple of days. And then we will continue on with our election season planning calls, which will be an opportunity to really plan towards action. So you all know these candidates in your communities. You probably have relationships or know people that do. So these action calls will be an opportunity to plan and really figure out what are the best ways we can engage with candidates. Because honestly, they're all, you know, human beings like every one of us, and they react to different things in different ways. And we are really looking to you all about how you want to engage with us and how you want to engage with these candidates, and then what you need from our team to kind of help get out there in our communities and organize your communities and engage with these candidates. So look for that. And then the 31 days of action is going to be a really, really exciting time to do different moments in different communities, and whether it be childcare tours, program tours, or different opportunities. People can host different events and invite candidates. There'll be a lot of opportunities to think of creative ways to show action for childcare in October. And then of course, getting out the vote and voting on November 8th. That will be kind of the culmination of the election season activity. And then we will move into kind of the legislative process and preview what the policy is going to start to look like, and the bill itself, and moving into the legislative session where all the incredible work will take place with the new candidates that have been elected, and more to come on that front. But that's kind of the really high level. I'll let Suzanne kind of dive into a few more particulars about what we're asking of you. But before we do that, because we are all about action here at Let's Grow Kids and on this campaign, I know many of you have already done this, but those of you who have not, we are going to all together take out our phones, and we are going to take the Child Care Voter Pledge. And this is a really important signal to us that you all want to show up in this election season for this movement, for this campaign. The link is in the chat. Now I'll just put it in there so y'all can click on that. If you've already done it, it would be great to share with friends or family via text or email. Kind of get that email up on your desktop and have it prepped to send. And this really is going to signal for us that you are taking the Child Care Voter Pledge to vote for child care champions, and then organize your community in support of these candidates. And it's really going to be a way that we can kind of coalesce around our endorsed candidates and help elevate this issue and make it a top priority on the campaign trail. I think I'll give everyone a second to do that. Lots of information. All right. Perfect. Let me check the chat. Great. So I think I'm going to hand it over to Suzanne, who can kind of dive in a little bit more on specific actions and share a little bit more about our exciting action packs and voter packs that you all can get as you're out there on the campaign trail engaging. I'll just give you a little teaser here. We just got these awesome t-shirts in for kids and adults. It says "Be a Child Care Voter." And if you kind of are out there engaging with us at events or just want to be out in your community at the grocery store where you might see your candidate, these are great, little preview to some of the stuff that we can send out to you as you engage with candidates in the election cycle. Suzanne, I think we're ready for some more deep dive into some action.
Awesome. Thank you, Emily. And Rhea, or I think Natalie, do you mind stopping the screen share for a sec? Awesome. Thank you. So I just wanted to pause for a second and look at your faces and look back at the reasons why you're here. There are so many stories in the chat of struggle. And we on the field team are out in the community all the time hearing so many stories across the state of the ways that the childcare movement, the ways that this childcare crisis is impacting the lives of Vermonters. And in a moment when there are so many challenges that feel impossible to solve, this one is so solvable. I keep looking back at, Will, what you said, which is something is not right in how things work now. We must change this to create a more nurturing community. This is not right, and it does not need to be so hard. It should not be so hard. And we have a moment right now to be so loud to make sure that folks know that this is a struggle, that this makes living in Vermont hard for people in a way that it should never be making it hard for people. So our work over the coming months is to make sure that your stories, that your voices are loud, that you have the tools and the support that you need to talk with your neighbors, to talk with your parents, to talk with your friends, to talk with every human you cross paths with, and make sure that they know that this is legitimately a crisis and that the moment is now to solve it. We don't have to wait. It's not that, I mean, it's incredibly complicated. You all know it's incredibly complicated, but it's not that complicated and we have a plan. So let's do something that makes lives better for Vermonters right now. What that means is that we will be doing everything that we can to support you because you are the campaign. You are what makes us powerful. Your voices are power. Let's see. Yeah, all right. So Anna is keeping track of how many folks have signed pledges. That pledge is really the first step to getting pulled into this voter process, this voter engagement process. So everybody who has signed a pledge in the past, we are reaching out to you, petition all of the ways that you have come in. But at this moment, we're asking you to say, yes, I want to make sure that elected officials are hearing my story, that they're hearing the stories of other folks that I interact with every day, that they know that Vermonters are paying attention and that we're here to demand action. And so first step, sign that pledge. That lets our field team know that we should be reaching out to you to support you in taking action. And then, if you will, put the slides back up. Awesome. And then the next one. So once you do that, there's sort of two things. There's a really easy ask, which is to use our candidate contact tool. This is a dashboard that lets you pull up who your candidates are, and you can send them a simple message. It can be basically what you put in the chat. Why do you care? How does this issue impact you? And ask them what their plan is to solve it. What is their plan to solve the childcare crisis in 2023? we want to make sure that candidates are hearing from everybody all the time in the lead up to the election, so that they know once we get to legislative session and we have a policy that there are folks who are going to tell them that they have to vote for it. Even if it's a hard vote, this is critical. All right, 16 pledges signed so far. Can we get some more? We make it to like 25. And then Anna, will you let us know when we make it to 25? And then we can like cheer and it'll be very exciting. And then the next thing is, we put together these cute voter action packs. Thank you, Natalie, for designing so much really beautiful stuff for us to use out in the community. These are designed for you to be able to start those conversations with your neighbors, with your parents, with friends, at a backyard barbecue, at pickup, everywhere you go. There's a clipboard, there's a pledge so that you can get folks to sign on to say, yes, I will be a child care voter. I am committed to solving this with my community. There's some bumper stickers, there's some temporary tattoos. You're not obligated to make it a real tattoo, but you could. I'm kidding, please don't do that. Or do, your body, do what you want to do. And then it's got like a backpack. And so all of the things that really make it easy for you to go out into your community. Everyone who signs up for a voter action pack will get a call from an organizer so we can help talk you through how to use it. We'll be calling folks over the next couple of weeks to make sure that you feel confident having those conversations in the community. And then we'll be working over the next couple of months to really start bringing you together so you're in community. It can feel really isolating to be struggling. And we want to make sure that that no one is struggling alone, that we're struggling together towards a common purpose. So that's that. That's the big stuff. That's the first stuff. And then we will be out and about in the community all over the place. So as you are getting more plugged in, we will be working with you to make sure that your communities see you all over the place, and that our candidates know. And I'm just looking at the chat to see if we got where we're at, but I won't make you watch me do that. So
I'm going to jump off mute.
yeah,
just
do
to
it,
say,
Anna.
we are
Do it.
at 23 pledges signed during this call. So if everyone here has already done it, all we need are 2 of you to text the link to a friend who will sign right now, and we'll hit our 25 mark. So I believe in us. Let's get this done.
Yeah, thank you, Anna. Thank you for saving me from scrolling through the chat. All right, and then we've got time for questions. So Drake has been collecting some questions. If you want to add any questions you have about either what our big plan is, what's been going on, whatever your big questions are, let us know. I think Drake's got a couple to start us off. I see Matthew LaFleur has a hand up. So process for asking questions, you can raise your hand or put them in the chat. And Drake, I'm going to start with Matthew because
yes,
that hand went up fast.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, everybody. Greetings. My name is Matthew LaFleur. I'm actually a Let's Grow Kids superhero, and advocate. My question is, for everybody on this call is advocacy within Vermont needs help with the child care sector. My question is, the understanding and a sense of belonging. Where do we see ourselves, 10, 20, 30 years in the future of the accessibility, inclusion, and diversity? That's my question. Thank you.
What an amazing question. I feel just honored to jump in and take a, go at it, and would love to hear others reflect on that too. Matthew, I just love that. And I loved your chat at the beginning about what brings you to this, that sense of belonging. I'll say a few things. A big motivation for why childcare is, as you and others, here know so well, is so motivating, is because it is one of those opportunities to disrupt, systemic inequities, to sort of go upstream and through policy change, support inclusion at a time when children, are developing at a rate that we never see again in our lifetime. So I think there's two key aspects of that. One is, how are we ensuring that the policy truly is working and being informed by those, who most need their voices lifted. And there's just been some incredible work that I'm so proud to be in a place like Vermont that it can happen of really getting folks. We have a BIPOC advisory committee. We have parent, early educators, and children with special needs as sort of specific stakeholders who are getting a really, hard look and a lot of their perspective and voice added into the process of developing the policy. At the same time, the field of early child education is innovating in this way all the time. They're, these children's first teachers at a time when the work of inclusion and equity is so important. So continuing efforts both within the policy, but today within the field of ensuring that the libraries are diverse and inclusive. That's been happening in high quality early childhood programs for decades. But then, trainings for how to be, an anti-racist early educator and how to support inclusion. And so I think there's, and then of course there's wraparound services for kids with special needs, that early intervention and referrals to sort of support, kids early on when it can be very effective. So this is one of the reasons why, Matthew, we're all so excited and coming together around this opportunity. And I would say, all of the sort of examples of things that we're doing together to really make sure we're not missing anything or having a blind spot in this. But 10, 15 years in the future, I think we have a vision where you have a child from any background, you can find and access childcare in the way that you personally need it, your child needs it, and you get all the supports along the way as a family and as a child in that care, including wraparound comprehensive services and referrals that lead to a lifetime of health and happiness. Isn't that what we all want? I know it sounds a little wild, but that's what we're here and that's what we're striving for. And again, we so rarely have an opportunity to work on something that has a solution through policy, means that can have that impact like that. I'd be curious if anyone else wants to weigh in, and I really appreciate question and perspective, Matthew.
Thanks, Allie. Hi, folks. For those of you who haven't met, my name's Drake, and I'm the Senior Policy Manager at Let's Grow Kids. We had a couple of folks message me directly in the chat asking questions. So thank you, Matthew, for your wonderful question and for being up to raising your hand and just doing it in the moment. But for a couple of other questions I think might be helpful, I'm going to ask them and then I'm going to call on one of my colleagues to answer them because I have the power here to do that. So one question that we got, I think this was during Allie's opener, was we've referenced a lot that we have big plans for the next legislative biennium and that we're coming into 2023 with a big bill and big dreams. What is the plan for 2023? And I see our Chief of Policy, Sarah Kenny, is here. So I'm going to put her on the spot and ask her to answer.
Thanks, Drake. I love that question as the resident policy nerd. What is the plan? As Emily referenced in that timeline earlier, we are going to have it all done by November, y'all, November, December. And we are in the initial stages right now of looking at all the incredible work that's been done already. And many of you on this call today have helped to inform the conversations over the past few years that led to H171, now Act 45, the goals that the legislature set for the state. And so we're doing a bit of a deep dive right now into the research and the components that need to underlie that goal of no family spending more than 10% of their income on childcare and early childhood educators receiving compensation that is fair and on par with their colleagues in other fields. So we're doing some sort of internal research and figuring out what are the policy levers that we need to move that forward. And really it's building on a lot of the work that we've all done together over the past couple of years. And we're just about to start looping in lots of the stakeholders and partners. As Allie mentioned, we're doing some engagement work with families and specifically with families of color and families of who have children with special health needs or disabilities to make sure that those voices are all reflected in our policy proposals. And then we're going to be bringing it out to circles of people to help us make sure that we've got the right policy proposals in place, and then rolling it out in December to all of you so we know exactly what we're asking all of these legislators to do starting in January. But first, we need to make sure that everybody who gets elected in November is ready to take big action next year on childcare. And that's why it's so exciting to be here with all of you today, because the best way for us to do that right now is out on the campaign trail. Thanks, Drake.
Thank you, Sarah. That was great. I know I can speak for myself and other folks at LGK when I say we're really excited to dig into this work with you all. And we've also been enjoying our summers a little bit too. So I hope that you all have, and there will be so much time this fall for us to have those deep conversations. I had one other question and then I will let us continue. And it's funny because someone directly messaged this to me, but I'm also in this situation, which is my candidates are already really great on childcare, and I expect they're going to be easily reelected. What should I be doing this election season? I don't know, Suzanne, if you want to take that, or if anyone wants to chime in, because we've done such a great job over the years bringing legislators along and candidates along on childcare. I think that's a great question.
I'll give it a start, and then Emily, if I miss anything, jump in. We are so lucky to have so many champions. And part of the role of a champion is to make more champions. So I think part of our ask is, like, we want our champs to continue to know that this is an important issue. And it's great to ask them to lobby their colleagues. Can they also be talking to other legislators to help build and develop more champions for us, so that when we get to the hard part of the fight, they have a really strong coalition that is not compromising, that is ready to build, well, I mean, yes, we need compromising, blah, 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 but like, that is fighting for a strong bill, right? That is ready to fight for what Vermonters need. So that, I think, is sort of the core of it, which is even our champs still need to hear from us all the time. And Drake, you're off mute. So I
was just going to say that is great. And I would also just reiterate that so much of what happens in the State House with folks who end up being elected is about building relationships. So even for folks who you know are really strong on childcare, they still need to know you, because we are all such important resources for legislators. We have a citizen legislature in Vermont. These passionate, committed people are also human and need our help to make sure that what they're doing is going to really move the needle for Vermont. So I think, Susan, you're totally right. Make sure they know how important childcare is, and then also make sure they know you, because that's just as important. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to raise your hand or come off mute. We'd love to hear from you, but that's all I got.
And I would just add one other thing too, is that just elevating them in their own communities and introducing them to your networks and your friends and family to show them the breadth and scope is still really important. Even though they are a child care champion and they might not have a race, those are the same faces they're going to have to report back to or be accountable to when the hard vote comes down. And it's nice to kind of make those connections for them, and also elevate them in their communities. They may be childcare champions, but everyone wants to feel the love. And even if you don't have a contested race, like, you're still kind of on the campaign trail. And if they can feel supported by childcare champions in their areas and their towns and communities, I think that always feels good for our childcare champions.
Awesome. Yes, and as Anna said, help us make more champions. You have a great champion. That is spectacular. Help us make phone calls to turn out more activists. Help us support other folks in taking action. There's so much to do. Exclamation point, help. Any last questions before we move to taking a photo and next steps?
I have a quick announcement to make.
Ooh.
I just checked the numbers, and apparently more than 2 of you sent messages to your friends and family, because we are now at 37 signatures on our pledge within the last 20 minutes. So, woo! Let's keep doing that.
Awesome. Thank you all. And thank you, Anna. Okay, so next steps. One, we're gonna do a little group photo in Zoom land. So grab your kids, grab your critters, zhuzh your hair, turn your camera on if you're comfortable being in the photo. Noah's gonna do a couple of screenshots. And while you do some primping, I'm gonna talk at you. So after this call, we will be sharing out this recording for everybody who could not join the call, and so that you have it. And we'll also be sending out some information about the follow-up call and some tools for you, and the links to the pledge, the order and action pack, so that you can share those with your networks. All right, are you ready? What's going to happen is there are many pages of you. There are 3 pages of people here, which is very exciting. Noah's going to do screenshots. So I'm going to let Noah stage direct us and let us know when he is taking pictures.
I'm just going to be generally taking some photos. So just look happy and maybe be waving, thumbs up, whatever you all want to do. But yeah, I'm just going to be, this takes a little while in Zoom land. So
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, say childcare.
awesome.
And then do let us know when you're done.
Yeah. Let me get one more. Perfect.
The thing I don't miss
Okay.
from the pandemic, all the big gatherings and trying to get like 50 people into a group photo. Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you, Noah, for taking photos. Thank you all for being here. Again, stay tuned. We will send a follow-up email with links to share with your friends. And you, if you have signed the pledge or if you have signed up for a voter pack, you will be hearing from organizers soon. And we're excited to bring you in and get your help.
And we're excited to see everyone in person out on the campaign trail. So Zoom world
Yeah.
now, I'm really excited to see all of you out on the campaign trail across Vermont, and we will be out and about, all of us. So thank you all.
And then maybe can we come off mute and do like a little woohoo or like something out loud together so we can feel our energy together?
Yeah,
All
woohoo.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's do
The silent closing of the picture. I see why my toddlers won't do it.
this.
Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh,
Have a
you
good
guys
day.
rock.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank you.
all.
Bye, everybody.
Go team, go.
One question for everyone before we leave, and this is something we take action together, is let's move forward for Vermont's children's future. Let's do
Yes.
this because they are our heroes, our future heroes of Vermont's, system.
That's right.
Yes,
Yes.
we can do this for the
Hear,
kids.
hear.
Thanks, Matthew.
Yeah.
Beautiful closing.
We deserve a better world.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.
All
Thank
right.
you all. Thank you, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Miss you already.